I don't know. There's hand signals at the bottom. See, it's usually switch up. I'm not. There can't be two of this guy.
No talking bad about legislators or any bills or anything like that. Okay. All right, good evening. Welcome to our April board meeting. If you'd please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The school board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on corporation matters. Community members requesting permission to address the board are required to complete a registration form prior to a motion to approve a specific agenda item. Individuals will be permitted to speak during the specific agenda item before a vote takes place. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members individually. Any questions on the personnel should be directed to the superintendent by contacting his office. No participant may speak more than once, will be limited to 3 minutes, and may not pass their minutes to another participant. The first thing on our agenda is to adopt the agenda. Could I please have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Shale. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Goddage. Is there any discussion?
I would like to table action item K, the closure of grade 12 to NPHS transfer students for 25-26 until May.
All right, so at this time we have a motion to table action item K, approving the closure of grade 12 at New Prairie High School to transfer students for the 2025-2026 school year. Can I have a second? Seconded by Mr. DeMeyer. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of tabling action item K, the approval of closing grade 12 at New Prairie High School to transfer students for 2025-2026, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That will pass. So all those in favor of adopting the amended agenda with action item K being omitted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And that motion will pass 5-0. Next up is our instructional presentation. So Mr. Holmquist, we'll hand it over to you.
Had to turn it.
I appreciate all of you coming out to see me speak tonight. I don't think so. There we go. Okay. So thank you all. I mean, I know you're here for other reasons tonight, but for being a good audience. So this is our board presentation for our middle school. I did invite my social studies team here to kind of share on some things they've been working on throughout this year. So I'll turn it over to them here shortly, but just want to give you a brief overview of what we've been doing for the last year here at New Prairie Middle School. There we go. All right, so a couple of, well, the big overarching theme that I want to discuss with you are our collaborative teams here at the middle school. And how those align to our unit planning goal, which was a district-wide goal that was established at the beginning of the year. A building level goal of us reviewing our assessments here at the middle school, and a resource that we used along with artificial intelligence, which I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Our guiding coalition, which is responsible for helping with the professional development throughout our building, and how we realigned that team this year to make sure we were doing the work we had set out to do. Again, our social studies department, who have been really good collaborators. To put it lightly, they've done a great job this year and in previous years, but really this year in taking this work and really pushing our school forward. And then what we're looking ahead to do even next year, because our planning is never done. We're constantly thinking about what we can improve upon and where we can go in the future. So our goals for this year, so at the beginning of the year, we set out as a district that we were going to look at our unit planning. We wanted to know what was being taught, when it was being taught, when it was being assessed, and then what we were doing as a school to respond to that data. So that was the overarching theme for the year. As a school district, it was established we need to get our unit plans organized, in order, and we need to make sure we have all of these components of those unit plans completed. At the same time, we had a building level goal that our guiding coalition developed in May of last year, where our teachers wanted support in assessment development. So we knew that we had to assess our students and their learning, but a lot of our teachers wanted more support in creating quality assessments to do that. So they wanted to build their confidence in their ability to do that. So the obstacle was that, there were concerns about quality assessment development throughout the school. There were varying feelings about that. Some people did not feel equipped at all to create a quality assessment. Some Teachers felt they weren't sure how to adjust existing assessments. A lot of teachers asked, what is a quote unquote good assessment? And some even said, where do we even start? I don't think it's that our teachers had no idea how to do it. I think they just needed that reassurance that you are an expert, you are a professional, you can do this. And we wanted to create the framework for them to do that. So we created a SMART goal, something that's measurable, it's timely, and we said by the end of the year, we want our teachers to feel more confident in the processes of creating quality assessments around our essential standards and our learning targets. So over the summer, the admin team was able to attend an assessment conference in Iowa, and one of the main resources and the presenters, Nicole Dimich, she wrote a book called Design in 5, and we use this as our guide to develop professional development for our staff here at the middle school to help them, with their assessment design. In conjunction with this text, throughout the year, started to learn a little more about artificial intelligence. I know you've probably seen a lot of that in the news and then social media. I promise it so far hasn't tried to take over the world as far as I know, but it really did help us with this work. So we utilized this book as our guide in conjunction with our district goal of getting our unit plans constructed and completed. So AI and unit planning, I started experimenting with it myself using ChatGPT. I ended up paying for the subscription to get the cooler features with it. But then there is an author named Bill Farrader who works with for Solution Tree, and he started publishing AI prompts on his website. And he put them out there as a free resource for any educators to access, because he has kind of taken it upon himself to be the artificial intelligence guru and how we can use AI to help teachers with their work. The rationale that I presented to my staff was that another thing that kept coming up was they were talking about the amount of time it takes them to even think of the right question to write for their students to assess the standard or learning target that they're doing. So my rationale was, well, can AI help us do that? And then we can spend our time scrutinizing what AI produces to make sure it aligns to the learning target. That seemed to go over well with I had some staff who were kind of like worried about AI and what it meant. What we have found so far is that they much rather use the prompts to try to generate and create the assessment and then scrutinize it after the fact to make sure it's giving them what they wanted. The amount of time that they've taken to create tests has actually been shortened because they're using the AI to help them create it, and I'll let them talk a little bit more about that when they get an opportunity. The other thing that we did with our collaborative work and team was redefine our guiding coalition. So around second semester, we used an article from Bill Hall about what the essential actions of a guiding coalition are, and used that to focus our work on the right work. So prior to this, we were spending a lot of time maybe taking care of the housekeeping things, the day-to-day things that happen in school, and really our work should have been focused on implementing our PLC at work ideas and processes. So we shifted our work about mid-year, I want to say in January and February, to really focus on the work of the guiding coalition. We developed our purpose statement as a team because the staff was asking, well, what is the purpose of this team? So we created our purpose statement. The purpose state of the guiding coalition is to lead change that positively impacts student achievement for all students. The coalition will collaborate and model evidence-based practices and create collective accountability among all staff. So not only are we wanting to ensure learning for all students, but we are also wanting to hold all of our staff accountable to the same standard that we are expecting. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to members of our social studies department so they can talk to you about some of the work they've done.
Hello, I'm Jacoby Blair. I teach 7th grade social studies middle school.
I'm Jessica Blandis. I teach 8th grade U.S. history at the middle school.
Dawn Simon, 7th grade social studies as well as Jacoby.
All right, so we're going to talk about some stuff that we've tried this year and things that we're really proud of that we've been working really hard on. One thing that is really important to us from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade is making sure that we are as aligned and consistent as possible across our grade levels. So we have been working on coming up with a common rubric for our written response questions. We've been coming up with our grading scales, making sure that the weight of our tests versus our class assignments is the same across all grade levels. We've been coming up with proficiency scales, the 1 through 4 situation that we learned about at Lincolnshire, so we've been trying to implement that as well.
We've been doing a lot of work with evidence-based writing as well within our classrooms, because when we take a closer look at our standards, a lot of our standards ask us to identify, describe, explain. And so we've been focusing on an ELA format that we have adopted within the past few years, where the students need to provide evidence from either a passage or evidence from something that they learned in class. And we can use the proficiency scale to grade them on their evidence-based writing. The goal for this is to get them started with the skill in 6th grade at a very basic level, and to increase the rigor within each of the school years. So 7th grade, they put a little bit more effort into it. By 8th grade, they should be able to put even more work into it as well.
And one of the ways that we use this proficiency scale the most is to track student data, which has been a focus of our department the last couple of years. So we created a spreadsheet basically where we pre-code the colors. We just have to put in the 4, 3, 2, 1 of the score for students. And we use this for a couple of different things. Monitor student progress across the year, of course, make sure that they're always improving and that there's not a downslide. We also use it to see if our tests are accurate, if we need to do any reevaluating from that, if any remediation is needed, if students are not getting things. We use it to monitor trends in students. You know, if a student's doing great all year and then they just drop off, there might be a different reason that we need to address for that. So that's something that we've been working through as well. Okay, so when we look at a unit, we first start, of course, looking at our standards that we have to meet. We then break the standards down into learning targets, which is something that we've been working a lot more at this year to deeply understand what the standard is actually asking. We then sit down with our content partners on grade level, and we decide, okay, is this learning target an informal check? Can we do a quick thumbs up, thumbs down, a bell ringer question with students, something super basic level? Or is this a learning target that's going to require some more like formal aspect to it? So CFA, where we're going to have to do writing or answer a question and actually understand what they know and what they don't. And then we take that same learning target and we just kind of increase the rigor or the difficulty of it for the summative, because the CFA is basically just the practice round for the summative. We don't want to give them something on the summative that they've never seen before. We want to make sure that they're prepared. So this is an example over here on the right of Egypt unit. We took our 3 different standards that we have to meet for that unit. We broke it down into learning targets. We figured out, okay, the one we can meet by doing a math assignment because it's a simple geography standard. Another one can be a quick informal check. And then the 2 in green are going to be our ones that we actually give written CFAs over throughout the unit. And then, of course, they're going to be later on the test at the end of the unit that we'll use to assess the students as well.
Starting this year, we really focused on working the units backwards in order to make this a more efficient process. So we start by looking at the standards. Like Jacoby said, we break the standards down into learning targets, and we identify what's going to be the CFA question and what's going to be on the summative. We create those before the unit even gets planned out entirely. And in between there, once we have established the CFA and the summative, we start to plug in the background knowledge, the activities that are going to be used to help them master the standard within the class. We do this as well because it creates, it allows for consistency, faster efficiency. And then after that, it allows us to talk with our teaching partners and to establish the kind of responses that we are looking for from the students, which allows for faster grading. In some cases, we can even do live grading where we can get the results back to the student within a matter of hours or a day, or even as quickly as a few minutes, if we have enough time allotted for it. And it helps us support consistent grading, so the teachers are grading the same way, they know what the expectation of the student is, and because we can grade in a timely manner, since we have already established what the responses should look like, we can also start to remediate immediately if it is needed. One goal of the social studies department this year was that we meet and work as a team frequently, whether that is in our teacher teams or that is in our department teams. We meet with each other on, I would say, probably a daily basis. Whether that's through an informal meeting, an email, or it's a formal vertical meeting, we discussed oftentimes things that worked in our classrooms and what didn't, how we can improve student engagement or improve upon the pacing so that students don't get tired of one sort of thing and become disengaged within our assignments or our units or our lessons. And we oftentimes are adjusting what the social studies department looks like through a 6th through 8th level and just trying to improve as much as we possibly can for the success of the students.
And then speaking on unit planning, this screenshot that you see over to the right is an example of a unit plan from 7th grade that we're actually working on currently for next year to be more organized. We love a good Excel sheet, so we've been kind of laying it out that way, identifying the unit, how long we want to spend on it, what standards we want to hit, what topics, what learning targets, just keeps us more organized and on track. So we've been working on that in 7th and 8th grade, and we're getting 6th grade on board with doing that as well. So that's another thing that we can be consistent with across the board. Daily planner for organization is a big thing. That's another screenshot at the bottom. So we make a planner basically in a Google Doc of everything that we plan to do every single day. We share it out to the students, they know ahead of time, and the parents if they need to, and it keeps us on track and them on track. And so that's just our goal overall as a department, is to make sure we're being consistent, we're increasing the rigor, students are improving from 6th grade to 7th grade to 8th grade. We're done.
So I think to summarize, there was a time when our social studies department was working in islands. They were isolated. We've come a long way, and this department's a really good example of that. I think there's also too this perception that when it comes to student achievement, when we're talking about language arts and math, it's always language arts and math. They have to do all the work there. That's the subject that's being tested. They're talking about doing written responses and raising the rigor of writing, and students are having to explain, identify. Those are all skills that, yes, are a language arts skill, but they're being asked to do that in other subject areas now. And they've taken it upon themselves very seriously that it is their responsibility for their students to learn their standards and master them. So they are expecting their students to do those same skills in their classes as well. So again, this is, when you think of teams, this is what your absolute dream is, because they're already talking about next year and getting everything organized and aligned for next year. So I wanted to give them an opportunity to kind of brag a little bit about the work they're doing. They're being recognized for their work, and I wanted them to have an opportunity to share that with everybody here tonight. So thank you for that. Next up, we have our assistant principal, Heidi West. She's going to wrap up a couple of points for us about some of our collaborative teams and then where we're headed next, and then we'll be done.
Hello, everybody. So obviously you just saw an excellent example of collaboration that happens, but if you walk through the middle school, you will see and you will hear collaboration happening throughout the building in all different ways, in lots of different teams. It's not just grade level partners, it happens in pockets everywhere. So some examples of positive collaboration that we have experienced this year is that our guidance team was awarded a gold star from the state for some of the initiatives that they're taking on to help our students be successful academically, emotionally, socially. We sent all of our math teachers, minus one who was on medical leave, to a conference in Nebraska, and they came back on fire for math and started implementing changes in the way that they were running classes, implementing curriculum, working with kids immediately upon their return. And they too are working to align 6th, 7th, and 8th grade so that the kids are in a natural progression as they move through the middle school. We've had 2 student staff sporting events, a volleyball game and a basketball game, to raise money for one for our math teacher who has had some medical issues this year, and the other to raise money for an AED out to the fairgrounds. And we've had great participation from students and staff in the community in those events. In December, Justin got wild and designed an escape room challenge for our PLN, our faculty meeting for the month. And I thought that was a really good example of collaboration because we mixed up the teams. I actually picked the teams and put people with people they wouldn't normally work with. And that is a test of, do you collaborate only when you're comfortable, or can you collaborate when maybe you're less comfortable? The teams worked together. They had to solve, how many? It was 5 or 6 riddles and puzzles, and they were cutthroat, determined to win. The prize was a week of wearing jeans, which motivates people really well. Oh, what? Yes, I got the winner. That's but that was a great experience to watch. And I think for the teachers to refresh themselves on some of the basic tenets of the PLC process. In a few weeks, myself and 3 other staff members are going to a behavior solutions conference so that we can collaborate to work on student behavior and increasing positive behaviors in school, keeping kids in class and in school and helping them to be successful. And last year, we sort of can't let this one go. Last year, our staff collaborated and we did, as a Heart Safe School, save a parent who collapsed with a cardiac arrest in our parking lot, which was pretty intense and pretty awesome collaboration across the board. Another thing that I think is interesting is that you see the collaboration filtering down to students. So we had 2 7th grade students ask if they could go to, I think it was Prairie View Elementary this year to present heart safe information to elementary kids. And on Friday, we have kids from our mentor classes who have written little books, and they're going to go to Olive and present them and read them with a 1st grade class. So when kids see adults collaborate, they realize that this is a skill I need. This is a normal thing for me to be a part of, and I'm going to practice this with my classmates as well. I think that covers our collaboration. Are you clicking? I think. Okay. So as always, Justin's already hot on next year. What are we going to do next year? And I think it's important to understand that sometimes teachers feel a little bit defeated by we gotta keep going, we gotta keep going, we gotta keep going. But part of the PLC process and part of the organic and natural and really positive collaboration of building is that it changes that mindset from we gotta start over to nope, we keep going. Continuous improvement in school never stops. And so it's just looking at how do we tighten this up? What are we gonna do differently? How are we gonna be better for the kids? Instead of thinking well, we're starting back at square one. We're always in that cycle of trying to be better. A couple things that we're gonna do is focus on tier 1 and tier 2 instruction. So we have an awesome intervention system in place in the building in all our classes, but we need to look at prevention. How can we support the kids in tier 1 and tier 2 so that they don't need intervention? They're having preventive action taken to help them stay on pace and on grade level with the standards. Again, we're going to the behavior solutions conference, so there's always room for behavior. And our guiding coalition has a retreat plan for May 29th, where we're going to sit down and talk about what are our goals, what are the focuses going to be for next year. And again, we'll continue to refine those unit plans in our assessment. And again, that's part of that idea that school improvement is continuous. It never stops. So we need to look at what do we have, how do we make it better, how do we help our kids be as successful as possible. So those are some of the things that we will be doing for next year.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
What's your home question? Is that AI or A1? AI? Okay, just double checking. Thank you. I'll explain it to you later. There we go. Let's do that. All right, let's move on to our next item. Which, let me get up to it. All right, can I have a motion to approve consent items, please?
So moved.
Oh, I got a motion for Ms. Smith. Can I have a second? It's seconded by Mr. DeMeyer. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving consent items, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. All right, we are moving on to reports. We're going to do a flip-flop, and we're going to do the legislative report first, and then followed by the superintendent's report. We just did consent. I didn't skip it this time. Okay. All right, so our legislative report, real quick. So this year's Indiana budget cycle has officially come to an end, and it was a roller coaster ride for sure. For our final legislative update of the year, here are just some of the highlights. Lawmakers opted to keep funding for virtual students at 85% of the amount of the brick and mortar students that received in the current law. Against this was a compromise between the House and Senate. The House proposed to give full funding at 100% to school districts, whereas the Senate wanted to reduce that to 70%. So they came together and decided just keep it at 85%. The distribution of summer school has been reduced from $18.3 million per year to $17.4 million per year statewide. Lawmakers did not restore funding for dual immersion pilot program, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, or the Internet Connectivity Fund. The final budget will restore the $52.6 million in the Charter and Innovation Network School Grant Program, which will offer those schools $1,400 per student, but it will remove the funding for the Charter School Capital Grant, which was a $25 million line item. Senate Bill 146 passed both chambers and will be signed by Governor Braun. This bill will raise the minimum teacher pay from $40,000 to $45,000, and it should be noted that New Prairie schools are currently above the state minimum. Partisan school boards. This is a fun one. At the beginning of the legislative session, both the House and Senate each had their own version of the partisan school board language. The House bill was voted down by an overwhelming majority early on. The Senate Bill 287, barely made it through, as two senators who had committed to vote against the bill changed their vote at the very last hour, which then gave it the 26 votes needed to pass the Senate and move on to the House. I would like to thank once again Senator Bohachek and Teshka both for voting against this bill on the initial vote. Senate Bill 287 then went to the House, and there the House did a complete overhaul to the bill and made it look like the original House bill, with only keeping one part of the Senate version alive. It then went back to the Senate to committee, where the author originally pulled the bill from consideration because he didn't like the changes the House made. But once it went to the committee, it was agreed upon with the House to go ahead and pass Senate Bill 287, and it was signed into law by Governor Braun. So once again, however, in that last initial, that last vote, Senator Bohachek did vote against the revised Senate Bill 287 as well. So once again, I'd like to say thank you to Senator Bohachek. So what does this mean for schools? This means that governing school boards, including the New Prairie United School Corporation, can now be partisan. Senate Bill 287 will give candidates the option to claim if they are Republican, Democrat, Independent, or they can continue to be nonpartisan and not claim any party affiliation. And by my knowledge, I do not believe you can claim to be a Whig party member. Again, sorry, Mr. Holmquist. We are now in the age of politics in public school. So with that, I myself don't have to keep my politics out of the boardroom, which, as you all know, I'm very good at that. But now I can do it more in a legal sense. So let's just see. I guess the good thing about Senate Bill 287, it does continue to hold school board elections only during the general election, and it will not recognize straight party voting. So those folks who still like to just pull the lever and then be done, they will still have to continue to vote for school board members separately of everybody else. House Bill 1500 passed both chambers, and that has done away with teacher appreciation grant as we know it. It will be replaced with a competitive style grant, which will then have a process where the Indiana Department of Education will get involved, but those guidelines still have not been set, and they will be working on that sometime this year. House Bill 1515. This bill is a collection of many items that would not have passed on their own, but got all crammed together so that the bill would pass. One part of the bill has to do with AEDs in the schools. It will now require that only certain individuals and certain schools are required to ensure that an AED is operational and present at certain events, and that individuals present at certain events are aware of the location of the AED and emergency plans regarding the use of AEDs. It also adds a requirement regarding certain school, one part of the bill also that was removed at the last hour was going to be the elimination of teacher bargaining. Again, that was pulled from the bill at the very last minute, which helped pass House Bill 1515. And so with that, I just would like to say that bargaining is a vital for teaching work, teacher work conditions, fair wages, and to have a voice that impacts both educators and their students. And I believe here at New Prairie, we are lucky to have a good standing relationship with our Teachers Association and the mutual respect we have with them, and look forward to continuing to work with that relationship going forward. And finally, we have the two big ones, Senate Bill 1, which is a property tax reform, and the effect it will have on Operations Fund, and House Bill 1001, which is a state tuition support, and the effect it will have on the Education Fund. Would Mr. Scott, could you just kind of go through what impact each of those bills will have on New Prairie schools, please?
Yeah, the Senate bill is basically tied to a property tax relief. The governor was running, this is a big promise. Instead of maybe tweaking one area, changing one rate, they pretty much overhauled the whole process. Was in a 1-hour webinar back on Thursday. They said it's the equivalent of pulling 4 levers at the same time to see what happens. So right now what we have is a bunch of estimates because there's been so many changes. Nobody knows for certain exactly what's going to happen. What it looks like is going to happen with the Senate bill as far as Operations Fund through property taxes is we're still going to get an increase every year, but that increase is going to be cut drastically. We average about $300,000 a year going up. This next year, that's going to be cut from $300,000 to about $47,000. And over a 3-year period, the estimates, we're looking to lose $900,000 over the next 3 years. As far as the House budget, they tried to put for schools that we would get a 2% increase the next 2 years. Looks like early estimates is that the year 1 we'll get about a 2.8% increase, and year 2 only about a 0.7% increase. Overall, within the 2 years, close to $700,000. But when you're talking about a $24 million budget, that's really not a whole lot for the increase, especially when we look at bargaining coming up, and last year when insurance went up by 11%, that's going to disappear in a hurry.
All right, thank you, Mr. Scott. And I just also just want to quickly point out one thing. A lot of times when you talk to one of our legislators, whether it be Democrat or Republican, they like to, in the past, always say how 51% of the budget is all education. Well, with this overhaul that was also cut by 4%, so now we're at about 47% of the budget is to do into education. So again, we're seeing a lot of things happening there. A lot of money being taken away from public schools and given to our charter school friends and private school friends, especially in year 2 of the budget there. So that is all I have for the legislative report. And I'm going to hand it over to Dr. White for the superintendent's report.
Okay, good evening. So for those of you that are here tonight, as you can see, you know, there are various challenges that we're working with and trying to learn more about, etc. But there are a couple of things tonight that I think are reminders of when the dust settles from those kinds of changes, kind of at the local level, why we're here and why we care about our local schools and why we want them to be successful. First is just a reference to the presentation that you saw earlier tonight. I want to quickly thank Mr. Holmquist and Ms. West and the 3 teachers that were here tonight. I think a simple way to put it, maybe for the parents in the room in particular, maybe you've thought to yourself over the years, I wonder what they do on this late start Friday, right? I mean, you know, we bring in the kids 45 minutes later or whatever, and what are they doing? That 20-minute presentation was probably a perfect example of the kind of deep professional work that teachers in New Prairie have been doing for about 8 years now in terms of getting ourselves as best organized as we can to provide the very best educational development for your students. the tenets of that presentation really encapsulate all of the latest understanding of how to help kids learn in the best ways possible. It's really some incredible work. So thank you for that. And it's a great reminder of our role in sifting through all these challenges and navigating us through so we can make sure that they get to do that with all of you. So that'd be one positive reminder. And then the second would be the following, which is why most of you are actually here tonight. You just picked up some other things that are going on in schools, et cetera. The consent agenda was approved just before Mr. King's legislative report. And amongst that is a personnel report in which a number of new teachers next year, et cetera, were hired by the board tonight. And they also just hired somebody that I think you might be interested. As you know, Coach Drew Lutz is here with us tonight, and he was just unanimously voted as the next boys basketball coach at New Prairie High School. So let's give him a round of applause. So we've prepared just a few things about Coach Lutz at a press release we're going to put out. They're going to introduce him and give it a chance to say a few things as well. On a personal note, if you don't know this about me, basketball is my first love. I love them all. Okay, I'm at the football game on Friday night too. But the truth of the matter is I spent 20 years in Southern Indiana. I was a basketball player. Basketball is my first love. Okay, I probably am not supposed to say that, but it's just true. So having said that, I will admit that I personally am just so excited for all of you in the room and this program and Coach Lutz. And I just really think that we are just going to have a great coming years with Coach Lutz. Here's a few things about Coach if you don't know. This past year, he's been an assistant coach at the NAIA level in Florida at the New College of Florida. Went into a program that he and his colleagues and their staff doubled the win total in one season. And immediately got more competitive right out of the gate. More specifically for us in our region, he's a 2019 graduate of Penn High School, where one could say, and I personally believe this because I watched it from afar, he probably amassed one of the most impactful high school careers of any high school player in Northern Indiana in recent memory, including, if I'm not mistaken, when you were a senior, Penn was in the final game of the semi-state, and that was the farthest the program, as good as Penn's program has been historically, that was the farthest the program had ever been, correct? It just as one example, and of course there were a lot of other players involved in that. He'd be the first to tell you that. But if you watch that team, you knew that he was the significant engine that made that team go. Was a point guard, a scorer as well, and a coach on the floor. So from there, he earned a Division I scholarship at Incarnate Word University in San Antonio, Texas, where he became a 3-year starter, including earning team captain status as a sophomore. That's not normal. That's not something that happens every night. And I think that's something, once you get to know him, he earned through his work ethic, and I think you're all going to learn because he understands that leadership is not always about being somebody's best friend but you also address what needs to be addressed when it needs to be addressed. And he's about winning and about being as successful as possible and doing everything you have control of to be as successful as possible. And he's not afraid to speak to it or call it out. So he earned that kind of respect of his peers. And then he finished his career at Bethel University, where he was a 2-time NAIA All-American and also served as team captain. So in terms of natural leadership, as you get to know him, you're going to learn that his strategic and X's O's knowledge of the game is very ahead of where most new coaches are at. In our interview process, I've been around a lot of coaches over the years, and his X's O knowledge was on par with somebody that's been coaching for 15 to 20 years. And I'm not saying that to try to put you on some bad spot, it's just the truth. He just knows a lot about the game. It's clear as a player, he paid very close attention as to what was going on holistically, not just what he was responsible for as a player. So we're really excited to have you here. I think you're going to make an immediate impact on these guys in the program. So congratulations again, and invite you to say a few words. Maybe I took them all from you. I don't know.
coming. I want to say first, my dad's in a battle with cancer right now, and he literally just a couple hours ago got released from his rehab center. So let's give it up. But no, super thankful for this opportunity. I'm really excited. My wife has been amazing. We're living down in Florida and had to convince her to move up north to the cold, but we love basketball, so this is the state for it. But I'm really excited to work with you guys, get to know you guys. From the high school level to the feeder level, I want to build this thing the right way, and I want to have fun doing it, bring some excitement. State of Indiana should be about basketball, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to work really hard. Our identity as a team, as a program, is we're going to work harder than any other team. There might be some bigger, faster, stronger teams, but man, we're going to work, and teams aren't going to want to play us because of our toughness and our attitude. But really thankful and excited to get to work. So thank you guys.
So just two final points before we move forward in the meeting. And I forgot to mention, and Coach Lutz shared, that focus on family and, bigger aspects in terms of influence that even go beyond the court, I think is another thing that you'll see from him and his family. And we appreciate his family being here as well. And that was also a big piece that we wanted as well. As badly as we want to be successful on the court, there are also bigger life things in terms of development of young men that we also want to be about, that you embody as well. So really excited and thankful that you took this opportunity. So having said that, we're getting ready to go into an action item portion of the meeting where the board sort of does the work of the school corporation. And it involves 13 action items, anything from snow removal contracts to trash removal, things that you probably saw, and you've been in here for a while. If you'd like, there's a reception that's been planned down in the cafeteria, and this might be a good opportunity that we could let you get down there, meet Coach Lutz, have some fellowship time together, and then we'll join you as soon as the board does its work. How does that sound? Very good. There it is.
Where you going? I gotta go with that.
Save me a cookie. They're shaped like basketballs. I want.
I like oatmeal chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip?
Oatmeal chocolate.
Chocolate chip.
Whatever.
Whatever.
I bumped into him at the dollar store Saturday. I don't know. The one on Quincy Road 20. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to action items. Action item A is to accept donations. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board accept the following donations. Rolling Prairie Elementary School received a $300 grant from the Youth to Youth Leadership, LaPorte County. Prairie View Elementary School received the following donations: 10 pairs of girls' sweatpants and 8 pairs of boys' sweatpants from American Legion Auxiliary Unit 297. They also received a child's wheelchair from Michael and Christine Wilhelm. They also received $27.55 from the Hudson Lake Mennonite Church to use as needed for student needs. And finally, Prairie View also received $350 from an anonymous donor for a 3rd grade field trip. New Prairie United School Corporation Nutritional Services received a donation of $1,030 to the Angel Fund from New Carlisle United Methodist Church, and an anonymous donation of $250 was also received. New Prairie High School received the following donations for the SAT Improvement Incentive Program. They were from Larson Danielson Construction at $350, Mark and Linda Danielson at $200, and D.A. Dodd for the amount of $350. And finally, New Prairie High School Athletics Department received the following donations: $50 in memory of James Williamson from Jeffrey and Darlene Trent. They also received a $500 gift card from Turf Tank. And finally, $100 in memory of Rich Witkowski from Linda Beam. So with that, can I please have a motion to accept donations as presented, please?
So moved.
Got a motion for Mr. Goddard. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Shale. Is there any discussion?
To say thank you.
Thank you indeed. All right, all those in favor of accepting donations, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And one abstention. That will pass 401. Action item B is to approve the handbooks for the 2025-2026 school year. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve handbooks for the 2025-2026 school year for the following: the General Elementary Handbook, New Prairie Middle School Student, Parent, and Athletic Handbooks, New Prairie High School Student Parent Handbook, and the New Prairie High School Athletic Policy Handbook. With that, can I please have a motion to approve handbooks for the 2025-2026 school year, please? Got a motion from Mr. Demeyer. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Smith. Any discussion? I would just like to say thank you to our administrators and directors for making changes very minimal, so it made it a lot easier to read this year when going through those changes. So with that, can I have all those in favor of approving the handbooks for the 2025-2026 school year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion will pass 5-0. Action item C is to approve some overnight field trip requests. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the following overnight field trip request. New Prairie High School indoor percussion students, along with Mr. Kendall Fowler, attended the Indiana Percussion Association Regional A Finals at Brownsburg High School in Brownsburg, Indiana, and that was held from March 22nd through the 23rd. And then New Prairie High School FFA club members, along with Miss Madison Copes, to attend the FFA State Convention at Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana, and that will be from June 16th through the 19th, 2025. So if I could please have a motion to approve both of those overnight field trip requests, please.
So moved.
I have a motion from Ms. Smith. Can I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Demeyer. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the overnight field trip request as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion passes 5-0. Action item D is to approve the recommendation for snow removal beginning for the 2025-2026 school year. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the recommendation for snow removal beginning 2025-2026 school year to KPEM LLC for snow removal at the high school, middle school, Prairie View, and Olive Elementary, and then Homestead Construction to remove snow at Rolling Prairie Elementary School. And these bids will be good for 3 years. Could I please have a motion to approve the recommendation for snow removal beginning the 2025-2026 school year, please?
So moved.
I have a motion for Mr. Shale. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Goddard. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the recommendations for snow removal beginning 2025-2026 school year with KPEM LLC for the high school, middle school, Prairie View Elementary, and Olive Elementary, and Homestead Construction at Rolling Prairie Elementary School for 3 years, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion will pass 5-0. Action item E is to approve the recommendation for trash removal quote from LAP Waste. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the trash removal 3-year service agreement quote for New Prairie United School Corporation with LAP Waste LLC. Could I please have a motion to approve the recommendation for trash removal with LAP Waste, please? Got a motion from Mr. Demeyer. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Smith. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the recommendation for trash removal with LAP Waste, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion will pass 5-0. Action item F is to approve the renewal with Fortra for the 2025-2026 school year. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the renewal with Fortra, which is a company that provides software we use to monitor our network. So when things go down, it will alert us. And that'll be for the 25-26 school year at the cost of $1,204.82. So could I please have a motion to approve the renewal with Fortra in the amount of $1,204.82 for the 2025-2026 school year, please?
So moved.
Got a motion from Mr. Goddard. Can I have a second?
Second.
Got a second by Mr. Shale. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the renewal for Fortra in the amount of $1,204.82 for the 2025-2026 school year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion will pass 5-0. Action item G is to approve the renewal with Ahead for 2025-2026. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the renewal with Ahead, also known as Veeam, which is the backup software solution, which allows us to back up important servers and network shares in the event something happens that we'd be much more likely to have a copy of that data. And that'll be for the 2025-2026 school year. So could we please have a motion to approve the renewal of Ahead for the 2025-2026 school year, please?
So moved.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Sorry. I'm going to take Mr. Shell. Hey, can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Goddard. Can I have any discussion? All right. All those in favor of approving the renewal with Ahead for 2025-2026 school year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion will pass 5-0. Action item H is to approve the renewal with Level Data for the 2025-2026 school year. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the renewal with Level Data, which is a product that provides the administrative staff with better access to student data contained within PowerSchool Student Information System for the 2025-2026 school year at a rate of $4,366. So with that kind of a motion to approve the renewal with Level Data at the rate of $4,366 for the 2025-2026 school year, please. Got a motion from Mr. DeMeyer. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Smith. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the renewal with Level Data in the amount of $4,366 for the 2025-2026 school year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion will pass 5-0. Action item I is to approve the operation agreement with the LaPorte County Career and Technical Education Area Vocational District Number 6. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the operation agreement with the LaPorte County Career and Technical Education Area Vocational District Number 6, beginning July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. The cost for Newport United School Corporation for the 2025-26 school year is $4,397, with $4,109 for student tuition and $288 for room rental. This cost is per individual student enrolled. With that, can I have a motion to please approve the operation agreement with LaPorte County Career and Technical Education Area Vocational District Number 6 and the amount of $4,397 for a total of $4,397 per student individual. Please, motion. Got a motion from Mr. Meyer. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
I know I just, a lot of, yeah.
I know.
Well, I skipped you over that one time, so it's.
Now you get 'em all.
All right, is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the operation agreement with LaPorte County Career and Technical Education Area Vocational District Number 6 and the amount of $4,397 per individual student enrolled for the 2025-2026 school year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That passes 5-0. All right. Action item J is to approve the CDL physical reimbursement increased amount. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the CDL physical reimbursement increase from $72 to $80. This increase would cover the cost of the physical, which drivers are required to pass every 2 years. So could I please have a motion to approve the CDL physical reimbursement increased amount being increased from $72 to $80, please?
So moved.
Got a motion for Mr. Goddard. Could I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Shale. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the CDL physical reimbursement increased amount in the amount of $72 to $80, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion passes 5-0. We skip over action item K and we are moving to action item L. That is to approve the renewal of the Follett Destiny Library Management and Services software. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the renewal of the Follett Destiny Library Management and Services software. The software is essential for managing library collections, supporting student access to resources, and maintaining a consistent platform across the district at a cost of $7,964 for a 15-month renewal. With that, could I please have a motion to approve the renewal of the Follett Destiny Library Management and Services software at the cost of $7,964 for a 15-month renewal, please?
So
Got a motion from Ms. Smith. Can I have a second? Seconded by Mr. DeMeyer. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the renewal of the Follett Destiny Library Management and Services software at the cost of $7,964 for a 15-month renewal, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And that motion will pass 5-0. And our final action item of the evening, action item M, is to approve the Indiana Online Academy contract with New Prairie Middle School and New Prairie High School. It is the recommendation of the administration that the board approve the Indiana Online Academy contract with New Prairie Middle School and New Prairie High School. The online curriculum contract will provide a curriculum option for New Prairie United School Corporation online students for the 2025-2026 school year. So could I please have a motion to approve the Indiana Online Academy contract with New Prairie Middle School and New Prairie High School, please?
So moved.
Got a motion for Mr. Shale. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Goddage. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the Indiana Online Academy contract with New Prairie Middle School and New Prairie High School, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That motion will pass 5-0. We have no discussion items tonight, so we'll move on to board comments. We'll start to my right, far right, Mr. DeMeyer. Ms. Smith. Right. All right. Ms. Smith.
Thank you to the middle school for their presentation and the support of Coach Les and all the boys that showed up tonight.
Go to my far left, Mr. Shale.
We're winding down another school year, so just want to say good luck to everybody and let's have a great finish.
Mr. Goddage.
I'm not looking forward to summer break. That means everybody's home. No, I thought the middle school staff did an excellent presentation, and congratulations, Coach Lutz.
Okay, thank you. All right, I just want to do a couple quick things. First off, great job by the cast and crew of Radium Girls. They did their spring play this past weekend. I was able to attend opening night on Thursday, and those young actors really hit it out of the park. So great job from the cast and crew of Radium Girls. And then, as Mr. Shell said, we are on the last leg of our school season. And in my opinion, it really gets kicked off this Thursday night. So it's also a reminder to the board that this Thursday is one of my favorite nights of the year, and that's the Top 10 dinner, where we get to celebrate our students, educators, and parents, guardians, and other special guests at our Top 10 senior dinner at Heston Hills. Remember, the hors d'oeuvres will begin at 5 o'clock, and the program will start at 5:30 school time. Everything's been moved up a half hour this year. So that's all I have. So is there any further business from the board? If there is no further business, this meeting is adjourned, and we'll see everybody in 3 weeks on, what is that, May 23rd, I believe? Yeah, or no, maybe before that.
19th.
19th, thank you. I don't know what the 23rd is. That's maybe student last day. So, yep, we'll see you on the 19th. Thank you.
Did you form